You ever watch a disaster unfold in real time, holding a cup of coffee in your driveway, and think, well, there goes the neighborhood? That was me, that morning, staring at our pristine, overpriced HOA clubhouse as it cracked right in half like a stale graham cracker, and a wall of muddy water came barreling through the French doors, swallowing up everything from pool chairs to Rhonda Penfield's precious trophy case, which, by the way, floated off looking like it was on its way to a Viking funeral. I'm not kidding, I just stood there with blueprints in my hand and my thermos, watching the chaos, while our illustrious HOA President Rhonda shrieked at the flood, like maybe water would respect property lines if she just yelled loud enough. Now, let me back up a sec, because you gotta know what kind of place we're talking about here. I'm Evan Calder, quiet guy, data analyst. My hobbies include mowing my lawn so straight it looks like a barcode, and avoiding eye contact before coffee. Willowick Dunes is what they call my subdivision. It's got those fake coastal vibes, plastic anchors on the mailboxes, street names like Sandpiper Court and Driftwood Lane, and we're 60 miles from anything you call a coastline. The closest thing to the sea around here is the beach section at the local home decor store. But it makes Rhonda feel fancy, and that's really the spirit of the place. So who is Rhonda Penfield? Picture a woman who parks her white Lexus in the spot closest to the pool, with a custom license plate that literally says HOA Queen. If you've ever seen someone weaponize a clipboard, you've met Rhonda. She acts like she's the last line of defense between civilization and a lawless uprising of garden gnomes. And me? My great crime, the thing that started all this, was that I noticed the Clubhouse Foundation was, let's say, flirting with disaster. You see, I walk the neighborhood most evenings, helps me clear my head after a day buried in spreadsheets. It started with small things: hairline cracks on the clubhouse patio, odd water stains crawling up the foundation, little caves of eroded dirt where the ground's supposed to be solid. All stuff that would make an engineer's neck itch, and lucky me, I used to do stormwater modeling for a city. 8 years of watching what happens when you ignore Mother Nature. I know how water moves, how it quietly gathers strength, what it does when you pretend it's not there. So, I put together a nice, polite memo. I even made diagrams, used all the lingo, riprap, geotextile fabric, shear stress calculations, the whole works. Emailed it to Rhonda. Figured I was helping. Rhonda's response? Not a thank you. Not even a let's discuss. Nope. She fired back with a violation notice. My offense? Unneighborly tone and undermining community confidence. Yeah, apparently, warning your neighbors about a potential disaster makes you the bad guy in Willowick Dunes. And that was just the beginning. After that, it was open season on me. Citations rolled in like junk mail after you buy car online. First, it was the sandbags I'd tucked discreetly behind the clubhouse, trying to keep the worst of the runoff at bay. Unauthorized landscaping, $50 fine. Next, a ticket for my gutter downspouts, pointing at an angle suggestive of defiance. That's a real quote, by the way. Then she hit me for a rain barrel that, get this, she said could be a possible moonshine operation, and she actually put that in writing. My truck parked 2 inches past the driveway pad. Cited. My mailbox flag was apparently not the right shade of red. Even my little weather station on the roof got a letter. Take it down because it made the neighborhood look paranoid about climate. Every single citation, another $50, plus a snide little note. HOA compliance is not optional. She even called an emergency meeting in the clubhouse. Picture it. Rhonda at the podium, arms crossed, so tight her fingers went white, telling everyone my warnings were alarmist Pinterest nonsense. She said I was fear-mongering, trying to sow discontent, and we'd all be better off focusing on beautification, making things look pretty, not worrying about invisible problems underground. And then, and I wish I were making this up, she has the ground's crew plant decorative pampas grass along the drainage swale because it looks beachy and adds property value. French drains? Banned. Too European, she says, for a proper American neighborhood. I watched her say it, dead serious, into a microphone, as if the water would pause at the border and ask to see a passport. Meanwhile, I kept records. Photos, rainfall logs, you name it. Every storm, Every little landslide behind the clubhouse, every inch the foundation lost to erosion. I documented it all, put in a packet, thick as a phone book, and sent it to the HOA board. Rhonda's answer? A big announcement about repainting the clubhouse in a more harmonious beige and installing 2 fake columns out front. The columns, by the way, didn't hold up anything except Rhonda's ego. They were there strictly for the newsletter photos. I watched the contractor put them in, and all I could think was thousands of dollars on beige paint and plastic columns, and we still got water running straight for the foundation. Then it got worse. Rhonda sent an official letter to the county, declaring the drainage system fully compliant. She CC'd me just to rub it in. Next day, my sandbags were gone. Visual clutter, she said, lowering property values. I put them back, got a $250 fine. I emailed the county engineer myself, sent him my evidence. Rhonda called it community sabotage and accused me of inciting wetness. Yes, that is what she wrote. Inciting wetness. She even barred me from the clubhouse for undermining morale. And then the sky broke open. One of those biblical storms rolled in, rain so thick you couldn't see the mailbox across the street. The Weather Service dropped a flash flood warning, but of course Rhonda had already banned sandbags. So what could we do? I shot off one last email. This is happening now. Her reply? Stop harassing me or I'll pursue legal action. Within an hour, the retention pond coughed over its banks. Water tore through that beachy pampas grass like it was tissue, chewed straight into the foundation, just like I'd warned. Standing in my driveway, I watched water crawl right through every weakness I'd documented. It was surreal, like watching a slow-motion car crash you'd predicted in advance. The decorative columns started to tilt. The patio buckled, making a sound like a breaking bone. Then, boom, the French doors blew out, and a river poured through the clubhouse, dragging Rhonda's newsletter props out with it. People came out in raincoats, phones out, filming the disaster. Someone tried to drive through the water, got stranded. A neighbor had to rescue them in a kayak. Total mayhem. By the time the sheriff rolled up, the clubhouse patio was floating. The place looked like a junkyard swimming pool. And Rhonda had gone from dictator to philosopher, talking about acts of God and how no one could have foreseen this. Rhonda stood under her umbrella, mascara running, holding court to anyone who'd listen about how unprecedented it all was. Meanwhile, I'm still holding my evidence packet, which, funny enough, had predicted all of it, right down to the order of failure. The county engineer finally arrived, flipped through my stack of photos and rainfall charts, and immediately started barking orders. Evacuate the greenbelt. Secure the gas line. Stop wading through knee-deep water, people. He looked at the floating pampas grass and just shook his head. Who the hell landscaped the drainage swale? Rhonda tried to launch into her vision, but he cut her off. Don't say another word if you value your liability coverage. Then came the insurance adjusters with their clipboards and cameras, snapping photos of Rhonda's compliance letter to the county. They nodded the way doctors do when you tell them your diet's mostly gas station pretzels, like, there's your problem. When Rhonda tried to pin the disaster on my negative energy, a deputy sheriff just asked, why'd you remove emergency sandbags during a storm watch? That was the last we heard from Rhonda for a while. She had a sudden appointment somewhere else. By nightfall, the clubhouse finally gave up. Those plastic columns snapped at their bases, bobbed down the street like oversized pool noodles. People just stared. Someone even yelled, there goes our security deposit. The local news was all over it the next morning. Footage of the eroded bank, clips of Rhonda talking about positive thinking, angry residents showing their flooded cars, and even a shot of the floating columns. They got a statement from the county engineer. This was preventable. It's willful negligence. That was just the start. The DA's investigator showed up, collected all of Rhonda's emails, maintenance logs she'd falsified, contractor invoices for swale grooming, which turned out to be just the pampas grass, and messages where she told the landscaping crew to ignore my warnings. There were even emails to the treasurer. Don't budget for drainage. It makes us look weak and paranoid. You can't make this stuff up. The news comments section, for once in internet history, united everyone, left, right, dog people, cat people, and roasting Rhonda. The county slammed the HOA with massive fines, forced us to bring in real engineers to rebuild, and put Rhonda on probation. She can't serve on any HOA board in the county for 2 years. But the kicker? The court made her pay full restitution to the HOA. 80 grand plus 300 hours of community service, which, I kid you not, she has to do by helping install riprap supervised by the county engineer and passing out pamphlets titled, "Drainage, it's not a vibe, it's physics." The best part? That big assessment we were all dreading to rebuild the clubhouse, the one that would have cost us thousands. Insurance covered it, after going after Rhonda's personal liability policy and a landscaping company. My sandbags, the ones I got fined for, now protected in the HOA rules, officially approved community flood mitigation aids. Not even Rhonda's successor can mess with them. Final bill? Over $80,000 in fines and restitution. I'll never forget the look on Rhonda's face when a judge read that number. She grabbed the table like she'd just seen a ghost. Her lawyer begged for a payment plan. Judge said not interested. Paid in full 90 days. So now, when I mow my lawn in straight lines and sip my coffee, I look at what's left of the old clubhouse, and I think, who gets to decide what's really neighborly? Is it the person who worries about how things look, or the person who worries about what holds it all together when the rain comes? You tell me, what would you have done if you saw your HOA president fighting a flood with a whistle and a smile? Drop your thoughts down below. I want to hear if you've ever tangled with authority gone wrong, or if you think I overstepped. Share your HOA nightmares, your disaster stories, or just tell me who you think was right. I read every comment. Let's hear about the real disasters out there and the folks who saw them coming.